Hi, I'm Karen Conville. I'm doing this video because a woman challenged me to do it, and I'm seeing her today for an appointment. So I want to get this done and get it up on TikTok. She's like, you need to get yourself on there. So I'm doing it. And rather than try and tell you a bit about myself, because who knows where to start with that, I'm going to share with you a reflection, a letter that I received and I shared on my other social medias. But I'm going to read it out because it's just absolutely awesome. And this is a letter that was sent to me by somebody who I've been working with. So we've been doing a lot of EFT, emotional freedom technique together, and this was her reflection on it. So these are her words. So if you see me looking off there, it's because I'm reading it. And it says, a reflection on belonging, authenticity, and permission. Sometimes healing gifts arrive in ways we don't expect. For me, one of those gifts has been EFT, emotional freedom techniques, or tapping, which I was introduced to and am being guided in by my friend Kaz. That's me. What follows is a letter I wrote to her after a recent session, woven with reflections from our work together. I'm sharing it publicly because the themes that arose, belonging, authenticity, and the remembering that we never needed anyone's permission to be ourselves, feel universal. Dear Kaz, thank you from the depths of my heart for introducing me to EFT. It is gentle yet so strong, a practice that asks me to look, to face, to really see what's there and to meet it all with compassion. Through it, I am learning to allow myself to speak, to rest, to laugh, and to simply be myself. The work is profound, but with us, it's also light-hearted, even hilarious at times. We do have a lot of fun. The space you hold is nurturing, empowering, and alive with warmth and humour, reminding me that healing can carry both gravity and delight. With each tap, I feel shifts that are subtle yet undeniable. Courage rising where fear once lived. Clarity in the midst of chaos, and the quiet strength that comes from honouring my own truth. EFT has opened a doorway for me, not just to face my feelings, but to meet myself fully, to embrace the parts of me I've silenced, and to step into who I already am. Your guidance, your holding of the space, and your gentle insistence that I look and feel and acknowledge has been transformative. I am deeply grateful for the practice, for your presence, and for the reminder that gentleness can be powerful, that laughter can heal, and that I am allowed to be exactly who I am. The door was never locked. For most of my life, I've believed I needed permission to simply be myself, to speak, to rest, to laugh, even to exist as I am. I spent so many years holding myself back as if my life were a waiting room and I needed someone else to call my name before I could enter. Permission was like an invisible chain. Permission to speak, to rest, to shine, to be seen, and most painfully, permission to simply be. Even now, I catch myself waiting for a nod, a smile, a sign that I'm allowed to take up space. And yet, in our EFT session today, it became startlingly clear. The waiting has only ever been in my mind. I once thought the way forward was to give myself permission. Can I be myself? Yes, approved, stamped. But maybe it's not about granting or seeking permission at all. Maybe it's about remembering I never needed it. Authenticity isn't something earned. It isn't given. It simply is. Like the river that moves without asking, like the bird that sings because it must. And yet, who am I without that permission? I don't entirely know. There's grief in admitting it, a sense of lost years, lost freedom. But there is possibility too. if the map isn't already drawn, maybe I can discover myself more honestly than if I thought I already knew. I glimpse the real me in certain moments. When I'm writing, words flowing without censorship. When I walk my dog, laughter rising unasked for. When I'm when I'm with kind, grounded people who value honesty. And when I allow myself to be unguarded, playful, and relaxed. In those moments, I am myself, not because anyone said I could be, but because I simply allow myself to be. Today, I imagine the me who no longer waits, the me who lives freely in her authenticity. And she whispered back, "You never needed permission. Not then, not now. You are not a picture in a frame. You are a river, flowing and alive. Lay down the heavy waiting. Breathe into your chest and remember, you belong. You belong to yourself, to love, to this earth. You are already whole." Grief and relief intertwine in those words. Grief for all the years spent outside my own door. Relief that maybe the door was never locked. EFT has helped me let this truth live in my body, not just in my mind. As I talk aloud to myself today, I tap on the old story. I've always felt I need permission. I tap on the confusion. I don't know who I am without it. I tap on the possibility. Maybe I never needed it. And slowly, gently, I turn to the truth. I am safe to be authentic. I belong to myself. It isn't a switch that flips. It is remembering again and again. I want to belong to myself, not in a selfish way, but in a rooted, grounded way. To know my worth without needing it reflected in every mirror around me. To trust my voice without waiting for applause. To rest without guilt. I don't need permission to explore, to make mistakes, to change direction, to start again. And I don't need permission to shine or to stumble. I don't need permission to be both tender and strong. I already belong. So here is my reminder, soft and true. The door was never locked. I never needed permission. I belong to myself here and now. And if tomorrow I forget, that's okay. I can remember again. If you have ever felt you needed permission just to be yourself, I offer this to you too. May you remember you never needed it. May you belong wholly to yourself, free and unafraid to flow like the river you already are. And as you read this or you hear this, perhaps pause and ask yourself, where in my life have I felt I needed permission? What might it feel like to remember I never needed it? Where do I glimpse my authentic self already free? You don't need all the answers, even the asking is enough. May this reflection be ours, a shared remembering of who we already are. With deep gratitude, warmth, and a laugh tucked into every line, Vicky. So if these words stirred something in you, I invite you to pause for a moment and listen inwardly. Where in your life have you been waiting for approval or permission that you may never have needed in the first place? What would it feel like to lay that waiting down, even just for a day? May we each keep remembering gently and often that the door was never locked. I'm just so in love with that letter, that wisdom, and just that whole idea about belonging and authenticity and the door not being locked. And it's kind of what are we waiting for? Why are we waiting for permission that we don't need? And can we just be? And yeah, she needs to write a book. This writing is absolutely phenomenal, and I know it's really, really touched me and touched others that I've shared it with. Yeah, watch this space. She's elevating the shit out of life.